I want to talk about something about Sabbath. In Moses' time, Sabbath is one of the commandments that they observe for the whole nation. And the thing is that when the laws talk about why the Sabbath is because God created the world in 6 days, and God blessed this day as holy, so nobody should work. And later on mentioned about Sabbath is we should rest. That's it. Of course, we know there's lots of what I thought about is similar to bylaw, apply to what is work, what is rest, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and laws of things that you things the governing how you spend your Sabbath. And to me is are you really resting your mind in the law, or you're wrestling your mind in the Sabbath day? One thing I found interesting, because if you observe one of the miracles in the wilderness time, this manna, what it was about the day before Sabbath, that everyone can collect a double portion, that they have provision during the day of rest. They don't need to worry about, oh yes, it's a day of rest, but since we don't work, we don't have food. No, not that. The food is already prepared prior the Sabbath begin. So which means it's not just say you rest and that's it. And I would say there's already things ready for you to spend the day that you don't need to work. I think that's really important, is something you have to see it about. It's not really about a festival. Don't mix it up with the Sabbath fall on the Jewish festival. It's just a normal Sabbath. All you needed is prepared before the date, and you can enjoy the day meditating or spend the time. You just don't have to work. In modern time, works can be very different from the ancient time, especially what is work. If you are a musician playing an instrument, it's your work. If you are a painter doing some sketching or drawing, it's actually your work. How about as a IT professional, touching your computer? Lots of things then consider work that doesn't happen all day. If you really look at Moses announced the law to Israel, the 2 times, Exodus and Deuteronomy, some of the facing not is actually slightly different. It's because now they enter a different time. They expand, they have a community. They actually, during the Deuteronomy, the Israelites actually had conquered some city in the east of Jordan. So they actually live in a different environment. They not totally live in wilderness. Some resident actually, they have a city. So you see everything there is talk about reflects the current situation. To me, I would say Sabbath is rest. I focus on rest rather than focus on work. Is because I think the miracle of manna is not a coincidence. It is a preparation prepared for the Sabbath, and is spatial in the Bible. So then you have to think about the true meaning of Sabbath, that you don't need to doing the regular stuff. Well, it's good, but that day is special. There's a rest and things prepared for you. And a couple of years prior than I diagnosed with ALS, I actually tried to extend after 67 or even longer. But the company I work for doesn't look good that time, so I try to retrain myself. I even changed trade, get another part-time job in the building management. But too hard for me. For a guy over 60 something, that's the labor work is not really for me, especially. But the best thing is I learned a lot about building management. The AC week, the AC or heat maintenance schedule, water pump, the lots of stuff, leaf, fire, building code, how to deal with the city permit and many stuff. Is what I experienced. However, then my children just say, "Hey, Dad, let us look at your resume." Then they help me to rewrite my resume, help me to submit to all kinds of company or whatever. Later on, I got a call from someone that's for the interview that they're going to a company that I don't know back then. Later on I figured out it's in downtown. It's one of the top 10 IT firm. Of course, it's not hiring me for the ace position, but for some slightly service support position. But I'm glad with that, because I worked for that company for over a year or something, that I have a chance to have a really wonderful experience to work into, to have get known to some brilliant young IT guy. And I look at all of them similar to the age of my sons roughly. So it's kind of interesting environment to work with, especially with Hawaii free coffee. And from there, suddenly I discovered my hand is kind of unbalancing. My left hand is interesting aging, while my right hand is functioning normal. I tried to do something else, and eventually that's caused me to go to a series of diagnosis and check. So that in the end it got me to this specialist ALS and confirm. But during the time, I find because of the job, I got the disability insurance ready. So after, and the best thing is before I actually submit my resignation because my inability to work anymore, they have downsizing, so they give me a really good package, and I applied for the disability during the cool down period, and they cover me my income up to now. So everything prepared, and I need them. Not really worry about them. And also working in the firm, they actually answer me one of my, what do you say, when I first worked here. Well, I consider I'm a seasonal IT guy, telecom guy. Here I have really hard time to get back in my trade. And although I work shortly for the government as contractor, it mostly I have difficulty to struggle to maintain in the trade. I mean, there's a lot of story and people help, but again, is you flying out, everybody have a good life, but you don't. Everybody get a job with the similar qualification, you don't. And then you will start questioning about yourself. Working in the, I mean, couple retire in the company, although it's it's downsizing, of course, that is too bad, but it's actually give me some endorsement that I'm capable to work in the industry in a top class firm with standard and high requirement, and still I can fulfill the standard and extend. You know, it's just like one of those undrafted hockey player here is struggling in the age, waiting for whether they should retire or to drive the Zamboni for good or do this equipment maintenance for good, and suddenly we receive a trial call from the agent for the local major team, and after the trial period and got the 2-year extension. That kind of feeling is wonderful. You know, it's in the end, yeah, you have experience, but you actually can do it. It just, you don't have the chance. And I feel good about it. So I can bring back a say, now I officially enter the year of Sabbath. I mean Sabbath year, whatever you call it. This is the first time I can don't work without a guilt feeling. You know, 20 years ago, every day I try to work a little bit more. Every day I try to send out one more application. It's because I always feel I not really work hard enough. But now, yeah, I can really rely on this. Yeah, I have entered the Sabbath. I can enjoy it in the peace. Although it's a couple days ago, I just say before it's very easy to have my free it's very easy that I can have lack of faith. If I cannot sleep, continue to sleep, continue, can't eat or similar things, or can't go to the bathroom, that will break me. And I just keep praying. My Lord will not give me something I cannot tolerate. And last week I suddenly experienced the first time I cannot breathe, and the ambulance come quick. So that's I get rescued by the paramedics. Spend the night in the ER, receiving oxygen and other things. Yeah, I think that my clock is ticking, coming, and it's also this, but I don't think this is really bad. I just say I feel conscious all the whole time, and I just say I don't want to die in that day. Just for that specific reason. I don't want to lose there's the salvation. If I have to die, I'm gonna die in a normal day. But it's up to the Lord to make the decision, not me. But anyway, since I don't have much time left, so I think this although I want to make a bunch of videos, talk about lots of stuff like the Bible, my childhood, my family, what I have in Canada, and lots of things. My observation is a bit the difference between these two places, people and culture. But I think this should be record first, because I want to share that I always think the Ten Commandments is not really about a law, it's actually about recommendation on how you live. What I say is should be because all the things is not Moses. The law is to make the people difference from the surrounding people. It's not setting up an unreachable target. So observe the Ten Commandments is not that difficult. Of course, I know some people will argue, say, when Jesus talked about you should observe from your heart and other things, and that is, if you read the Bible correctly, they actually point out the hypocrisy of the Pharisee. It's nothing about the law, is because they set the high bar to the law to push it up and up until nobody can actually follow it. As actually they, rather than focus the original context in the when Moses announced the law and make his people learn about it. If so, I would say better read again the Deuteronomy again, because that is not a repeat of the Israelite history. It's a series of interesting sermon that summarize. Is not just talk about what they should do, is what they should do after they already have the experience over the 38 years in the wilderness, and that is not just say it's oh you should, and because they already have the first-hand experience, then whether you follow or not follow the covenant and what happens, they actually know it on first hand. That's the rare difference. You should listen to what Moses preached to his people and observe the difference, and what Moses announced it in Mount Sinai. That is true. You also look at the difference, you find is very is a breath to calm down your soul. Well, anyway, I don't want to make this long. I try to talk about different topics in the next video then.